In the headlines, Dominica welcomes $350,000 in recovery assistance from regional telecoms body Ectel and calls for a review of high roaming rates. Portsmouth residents with damaged roofs to receive help under a $2 million facility, and 4 local cricketers to represent Dominica in the regional under-15 tournament. I am Kenny Williams with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details right after this.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You'll expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs.
Thanks for staying with us. First up, the Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority, Ectel, has injected EC $350,000 into Dominica's recovery efforts. At a ceremony on Tuesday, Acting General Manager of Ectel, Andrew Millet, said the organization is committed to helping build resilience among its member states to bounce back better from the impact of natural disasters.
In Dominica, we'll be meeting with service providers tomorrow to really go through some of the restoration activities. It's important that I think we're here to support restoration activities across, at a broad stream, making sure that whatever we can do to assist us, the providers is really done. Also, apart from this monetary donation, we also have to look at how could we improve things in terms of our resilience for hurricanes. So one of the things we'll be doing is purchase some satellite phones for each NTRC. So in the event of a disaster, this will definitely help in terms of the restoration activities.
Minister for Telecommunications, Kelva Daru, disclosed that the monies will be used both to develop the telecommunications sector and help in providing housing for those in need. He says Ectel was quick to respond to the telecom's restoration needs in Dominica in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria.
And they did so by suspending the licenses and the relaxation of regulatory processes in order to expedite overseas of the people's businesses, policymakers, and also to provide necessary frequencies to both Flow and Digicel in an effort to restore communications in Dominica. Today, Ectel will make a presentation of $350,000 that will be broken down as follows. $150,000 will be made to the government of Dominica to go towards the housing sector, and that will target the communities within the St. Joseph constituency where some housing projects will be undertaken. An additional $200,000 will go towards the National Telecommunication Regulatory Commission of Dominica, the NTRC, to ensure the complete restoration of the NTRC's business, where they are housed, and also the services that they provide throughout this country.
In more top stories, the government of Dominica has challenged the regional telecommunications body to review the roaming rates among OECS countries.
The Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority, Ectel, is the regulatory body for telecommunications in its member states, namely Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Minister for Telecommunications, Kelva Daru, called upon Ectel to review the roaming rates of its member states as the roaming charges among OECS countries are too high and need to be lowered.
Ectel needs to work speedily in ensuring that the roaming rates, particularly within the OECS territories, is something that is looked at critically to ensure that these rates can be lowered. Because why is it that you have to leave Dominica and go across to St. Lucia or to Antigua or to St. Kitts and you have to pay so much for roaming charges? It is critical. In such a small area, the EU has gone ahead and done it. Why can't we, 5 countries within the OECS, do the same thing to reduce the roaming rates for our citizens here in the OECS territories. So this is my challenge to ECTEL, and the acting manager is here. So I'm hoping that at the next board meeting that this is discussed, and when the Council of Ministers meet, we can take a firm position on this thing.
Acting General Manager of ECTEL, who is on island, said the high roaming rates have been of concern for the regional body for some time now.
The roaming rates is something that ECTEL has been working on for some time. It's very, very important that we get these roaming rates down, as the Minister rightly said. We have been doing a lot of work in the background with respect to that in terms of getting a roaming bill passed. We have taken it to the board already. We have to also bring it to the Council of Ministers to ratify. So work has been done, and it will be, I can't give a timeline right now, but very soon we should be, looking at implementing newer lower rates for roaming. Even the rates, apart from just the general rates in terms of for roaming, if you look at sometimes the rates between calling member states as opposed to call the US, you will see there's not much difference there. So of course the rates are very high and it needs to be reduced, especially on the roaming side.
ECTEL was established in May 2000 through the signing of a treaty by the 5 member states in St. George's, Grenada. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
Next up, $2.4 million for residents of the Portsmouth constituency to repair their hurricane-ravaged roofs.
This as government has allocated funds in each constituency for a roof reconstruction program. Member of Parliament for the Portsmouth constituency, Ian Douglas, says his constituency has almost $2.5 million to work with.
We continue to work. We've started, of course, repairing some houses and repairing some roofs so that we could get rid of the blue tarpaulins that have been placed on the roofs there. Thanks to the Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance has allocated about $2.4 million for the Portsmouth constituency to be used and allocated to beneficiaries. And we have different building teams from Dodan come all the way back to Portsmouth itself. We have a building coordinator and various building teams with contractors and other workmen who go about. First of all, they have done all of the looking at all of the roofs and doing all of the assessments needed, and then we can get the material.
Douglas says donations of building materials from foreign agencies and government's purchase of $2 million worth of building supplies have covered the shortage to some extent.
The government itself invests in about $8 million, to purchase other materials and stuff. That is US dollars. Part of that material is being stored in Portsmouth. Portsmouth has a storeroom, so that it makes it even easy for us in the constituency, although that storeroom services probably the entire west and northeast of Dominica. But since it's in close proximity to us, it's easy for us to prepare our list, go to the storeroom, get the materials. The materials we don't have, we can purchase, because we have 2 leading hardware suppliers in Dominica, in Portsmouth. We're talking about M&R Trading, and also Rudolph Thomas and Sons are based in Portsmouth. So it's easy for us to source building materials from them, and that also gives the economy, a semblance of vibrancy and buoyancy. People are working, they're purchasing materials. The NEP is in full support of what is happening down there and really contributing to the way that the town is really bouncing back.
85% of houses in that constituency suffered damage. It's also government's intention to build houses for displaced residents. In the meantime, some temporary housing shelters were built to accommodate them.
We still have some people in shelters that we want to move into those transition houses. On the Carnival weekend, we had a great time. A team from Trinidad and Tobago came in. It's the Sai Baba organization out of Trinidad and Tobago. About 100 of them came into Portsmouth and we built about 15 houses for residents of Portsmouth. So you'll go all over Glanvilla, Chance, Portsmouth, it's a Bonn, Dodan, which is part of my constituency. And you'll see those homes, blue gypsum board homes built. Gypsum board is like shitrock homes built, and they are like basically aluminum rafters and sidings. And we put those homes up in a matter of days over the carnival weekend.
Moving on to matters of education, where the Dominica Association of Teachers will have a new president when it holds its biennial conference next month.
Current President Celia Nicholas will not be seeking re-election. The DAT usually holds its elections during its biennial conference, and during an interview with Channel 5 News, Nicholas revealed that this time around she will not be contesting the post of president.
There will be elections yet. I make bold to say, well, I mean, earlier on I did say that, but this time for sure, I won't be offering myself office. But I mean, the Constitution has it that I will still be on the executive because as the immediate past president. The institution has to grow, and the institution is more than Celia Nicholas. And Celia Nicholas, there are other things that Celia Nicholas can do and want to do. And sometimes it poses problems. So there are other individuals who are willing presently now to take the lead.
Nicholas says even though she will not be president of the DAT from April, she will still assist the organization.
I will not neglect DAT. DAT is part of my DNA. I will assist wherever I can, as I jokingly normally tell them at a consultancy level. You know, but there are others who can lead and there are others who need to lead. That is very important. People have received the training, people have been exposed, and they need to do it. So the nomination forms are out and anybody can offer themselves for the services of the Dominica Association of Teachers.
Nicholas has been the president of DAT since 2000.
You are watching the Channel 5 News. Coming up, government post-Maria assistance to farmers applauded. That and more when we come back.
Do you need more cash for that home improvement? Then come to Fast Cash, where we give you more. At Fast Cash, our customers get more funds and more time to repay. But wait, can't come to us? We'll come to you, and our mobile officer will get you on your way. Small businesses, consumers, and taxi owners. Fast Cash has more for everyone. Simply call or visit any of our locations for more. Smarter, faster, better. Fast Cash. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Government is considering going back to the drawing board on a revised loan facility for manufacturers.
The $15 million loan facility was initially launched in August 2017, but was revised post-Hurricane Maria with a view to making it easier for manufacturers to qualify for the funds. However, President of the Manufacturers Association, Severin Mackenzie, says access to those funds has still not been easy for the majority of manufacturers who applied.
We are still in the negotiating process for easy access to the facility, because up to this time, not many of the manufacturers have been able to access those funds. The first facility was signed in August, and then came Maria less than a month after. So immediately after Maria, with the assistance of the Ministry of Commerce, we were able to review the proposal that we had submitted to the government and resubmitted to them. And by December, this proposal, the revised proposal, had actually been presented to Cabinet. And this is why they had the second signing of the agreement with the aid bank. But the difficulties that we have, there are some conditionalities in the agreement for accessing the funds.
Mackenzie says his association has met with the Prime Minister and aid bank officials on a way forward. Among manufacturers' recommendations is for the restructuring of existing loans at the aid bank.
Just two weeks ago, in fact, we had a meeting with the Prime Minister, and then we had a meeting with the aid bank, the Financial Secretary, and the Cabinet Secretary to see what can be done, what changes can be made for the manufacturers to be able to access the funds more easily. So we are getting some level of cooperation. Just that, the wheels of the bureaucracy spin very slowly, not as we would have liked it to be.
On the issue of whether he would like future opportunities to present their concerns to government, Mackenzie noted that there has been constant dialogue with the authorities.
We are in constant contact with the government. We are in constant contact with the Ministry of Commerce, that is in fact the ministry responsible for manufacturing. And I could tell you that we have had a very good relationship with the permanent secretary and the minister of that in that ministry. That's why we were very early. We were able to, as early as December after the storm, we were able to prepare a proposal and get it across the government. And this is why the government was able to do the review of the facility.
On to matters of agriculture, coordinator of special projects within the Ministry of Agriculture has commended government for its efforts in terms of assistance to farmers post-Hurricane Maria.
Nichols says this administration is leading the way and has raised the bar in terms of government assistance to farmers and overall investment in agriculture. Esprit says it's unfortunate that government critics resort to creating their own alternative facts on that issue.
From where I sit, I can recall that this is the government and the Prime Minister who has done the most ever for farmers in Dominica. And sometimes, I get shocked when I hear people on a particular radio station saying that the government doesn't care about farmers. This is the only government I can recall in the history of the Commonwealth of Dominica who has presented and provided free grant money to farmers after a storm or a hurricane. Every other time farmers have received monies or cash after a storm or a hurricane, it was due to what we call ring crop at the time. When banana was in its heydays, farmers would produce and they would pay wind crop insurance. And when there's storm or wind passes and would damage their crop, the banana crop, the insurance would come, assess, and give them monies for their insurance, just like how they do now after Maria for people with their houses and so on. But actually, money that you did not contribute towards and you're getting it free, this is the only time and the only government who has done that for farmers. So if this is not showing interest in farmers, then you will have to tell me what else would be.
Esprit points to examples such as free fertilizer given to farmers after the storm and $130,000 being currently spent to clear up farm access roads. He says these efforts, coupled with emergency assistance for 4,000 farmers from an $18 million package from the World Bank and government, are significant and are having an impact, but there is still more to be done.
In addition to the grant funding, there will be further assistance. For example, the livestock farmers, the ministry will come to you to assist you with restoring your fowl coop and your pig pens and so on. The farmers who lost their sheds, the ministry will be assisting. But these programs are being developed, and in time we will come to the farmers. Even the fishermen, there's a program to help some of the fishermen who lost their boats and their engines. So the government is working very hard, and to hear people make these statements, sometimes it's just appalling, because it's one thing to be in politics and criticize. There's another to actually create lies to try to divert people's attention. But the truth is this government is working hard for and on behalf of the farmers of Dominica. The farmers are seeing that.
It is hoped that farmers will utilize the emergency grant to begin restoring their farms and getting back into production.
And one farmer who owns a 10-acre plot in the heights of Collio is urging his counterparts who have not yet done so to consider living on their farms.
Bartholomew Antoine is convinced that living on the farm saves time and results in getting much more work done. He is one of those farmers who sees his work as a business.
Well, living on the farm is very important to a farmer, because you will be actually there. It's a business enterprise. Farming is a business enterprise. And having a house, not just a shed, having a house on a farm gives you an advantage to take opportunity of time, to maximize time, by not just spending a few hours and then running back down to a village. But you'll be there. Even a heavy shower, rain falling, you can shelter, and then after that you can come back and start working. If you feel tired, you can sleep, you can rest, you can regain your energy and then come back. You can cook, in a comfortable environment, you know, and then you can come back again and start working. So you'll be there, you'll be seeing where like your works, and you'll be taking more interest in doing your work as well.
Antoine seems to have a preference for growing vegetables. He says he cultivates bananas only for the local market.
I sell quite a bit of bananas in the market in Roseau, and tree crops like avocado and citrus and those things there. But vegetables like carrots, beets, cabbages, tomatoes, I do a lot of those things. These are my major crops that I go into.
This is the Channel 5 News. When we come back, we'll have your sports highlights.
First up in sports, West Indies head coach Stuart Law says while the team's win against Zimbabwe on Monday was a close call, there is little room for celebration now. West Indies still have to defeat Scotland on Wednesday to move to the finals carded for Sunday.
It's been brutal, the schedule. We have a game today, we've got a day off tomorrow, and we play the next day. So, we've got to put this one to bed very quickly, celebrate what we've achieved today, but also cast our minds onto what Scotland have in store for us. They've got some good cricketers in their ranks. A lot of their guys have been involved in county cricket, so plenty of experience. We're going to have to turn up, do a bit of planning tomorrow, and turn up on Wednesday full of energy and full of fight.
Law noted the Windies had a good tournament so far, but says there is room for improvement. He added that Marlon Samuels and Chris Gale bring a wealth of experience to the team.
We haven't, probably played as well as we possibly can. We have done in bits and pieces. We haven't really put it all together. Today was pretty close. This tournament, people sitting on the outside expecting teams just to fall over and roll over and die. Those days are gone. These teams, if you take Marlon and Chris Gale out of our team, we're probably one of the most inexperienced teams here, playing wise in the number of games. So our boys are still young, still learning. It's great to have those two guys around to offer their experience and the go-to guys out on the ground. So. So far, we haven't probably played as well as we would have liked. Consistently, we have shown signs that we're a very, very good cricket team, and we've got one more chance to really, show the world that we can do it. But look, very happy with where we are. We've only lost one game in the competition so far, and that was to Afghanistan, who, on a surface that suits their spinners, are very difficult to beat anyway. So, look, we're not happy, and nor should we be. We've got a little bit to work on, and we talk about it tonight. Work out a strategy against Scotland. As I say, we come here Wednesday morning, and we look to put it to bed.
West Indies' win against Zimbabwe on Monday put them at the top of the points table in the Super 60s round of the ICC World Cup qualifiers. Meantime, 4 budding cricketers will get a chance to make their country proud at a regional competition later this month. Yawani Regis, Kyron Phillip, Neo Davis and Stefan Pascal left the country on Tuesday to take part in a training camp in Barbados. From there, they are expected to move on to Jamaica for the regional Under-15 tournament, which is scheduled to run from March 28 to April 4.
I know practically all of them, and I've seen their development. And they've done very well for themselves. Taking everything into consideration, these guys were participating in the sub-regional competition sometime in December, and you'd probably remember what we went through in Dominica as a nation. And although we didn't do too well as a team, but these guys were able to gain selection on the Windward Islands, on the Windward Islands team to participate in the regional competition. So hats off to them. We've seen over the last couple of months, although they were initially hampered by the torrential rains that we had earlier in the year, but they went about their business in putting in quite a bit of work. They were commissioned to at the Cricket Academy on weekends, every weekend. There were some special arrangements that was made for them to participate and do their training and preparation there. So all in all, the preparations went quite well.
Next up, President of Dominica Cycling Association Ronald Charles revealed more media coverage and improved sports tourism are major target areas for this year's OECS Cycling Championship. Although the annual event is a regional competition, the presence of media from other OECS countries was limited in 2017. Charles says there is also a plan to improve the route's ambience on the day.
We have to use the best roads we have. And to be honest, it's from Marpin back going north is a better place we can use. So we will continue to probably, I guess what we will do, in all honesty, is to bring a little more ambience to the atmosphere. So we'll get a lot of corporate sponsors and corporate people to come in, for example, you know, to bring in their booths and to bring in this and to display some of the things from Dominica.
Any possibility of seeing more regional staff, more regional media coming to cover the event?
That is a very good question. That is some of these things we are working on it, and to be honest, we haven't nailed it yet. But this is something we'll definitely be looking at. It's a very good suggestion.
So far, Antigua, Anguilla, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and Grenada have confirmed their attendance for the 2018 OECS Cycling Championship. Charles points out that including regional cyclists in national races is a strategy to further develop the sport. On Sunday, a Dominican pilot based in Antigua won the 5th national cycling race of the year.
I think this is one of the best things that could have happened. What it has done is that it has really pushed our local guys, knowingly that the guys were coming and they're very good, they're on a better standard than us. They really did well, especially young Coaf and Bram Sanderson, you know, working and doing what they had to do, including Levi Barron. So I think this is very good for the sport. It is making us get where we want to be. And more, the whole idea is to invite people, because it's all well and good to have the local competition, but if you don't have the outsiders coming to compete with you, then you cannot really gauge your level. So it's really good, and they did very well, and we're looking forward to having more races like this.
The next local race is carded for April 1. Back with more cricket, we can tell you that West Indies women suffered their 3rd straight defeat against New Zealand in the 3rd T20 International on Tuesday. Batting first, the Zealanders scored 134 for the loss of 7 wickets. Susie Bates was most outstanding with the bat in that match to score an undefeated 52. Sophie Devine closely supported with 41. Hayley Matthews launched a bowling attack to pick up 3 wickets for 24 runs, while Deandra Doughton took 2 for 23. Set 135 of victory, West Indies narrowly missed out on the target and finished on a 133 for the loss of 7 wickets. Marissa Aguilera was most impressive with the bat for West Indies to score an unbeaten 38. Leigh Casper put the pressure on the Windies to take 3 for 31 and Anna Patterson 2 for 25. The 4th T20 International between the two teams is carded for Thursday. As of Tuesday's encounter, New Zealand led the 5-match series 3-0. That's all the time for sports. Join us next time. To end the news, the headlines again. Dominica welcomes $350,000 in recovery assistance from regional telecommunications body ECTEL and calls for a review of high roaming rates. Portsmouth residents with damaged roofs to receive help on the $2 million facility, and 4 local cricketers to represent Dominica in a regional under-15 tournament. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Kenny Williams. To all our viewers all around the world, thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.